Nobody expects to become too sick or injured to work, but when it happens, long term disability insurance can really make a difference. Many people assume that they'll be covered automatically through their employer, but that is not always the case.
I'm Leah Small, a managing attorney here at Chisholm and Kilpatrick, a leading public interest law firm based in Providence, Rhode Island. Joining me today is Maura Black, a partner here at CCK Law. Today, we'll be discussing how to find out if you have LTD coverage through your employer, how to enroll if needed, what your options are if you don't have employer-sponsored coverage, and more. But before we begin, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more LTD content.
Thank you, Leah. Let's start by talking about how a person can find out if they have an employer sponsored LTD insurance policy.
So, a good place to start is asking your human resources department about the benefits that are offered. You can also check your employee handbook or online benefits portal to see if long-term disability insurance is discussed. Similarly, you can look at your annual benefit enrollment materials or your pay stubs to see if there are any indication of deductions for LTD premiums. If you do have employer-provided coverage, you can request a copy of your plan summary, other plan documents, and insurance policy from HR so you can review them to see the level and extent of coverage you have.
And as we mentioned before, not all long-term disability coverage is automatic. Some employers may pay for basic LTD coverage for their employees, while others may offer it as a voluntary benefit. And still others may not offer LTD coverage at all. So Leah, can you talk about these distinctions a little bit more?
So, if your employer does in fact offer LTD insurance, it is not necessarily guaranteed that you are going to be covered. Some employers do have basic LTD coverage that is fully paid for by them, and thus it automatically covers any employee. But sometimes the employee is responsible for paying some or all the premiums for LTD insurance, and thus they must opt in during open enrollment or when they're first hired. And sometimes you may encounter an employer that has an automatic basic coverage, but there's also optional buy-up plans that are available to increase coverage beyond the basic amount at the employee's election. If you're required to elect LTD coverage and miss the initial enrollment window, though, you may need to wait until your next period of enrollment or provide proof of insurability to the insurance company. It's important to remember that even if you're healthy now, that can all change in the future and potentially very quickly. Ensuring that you're covered is an important first step, even if you don't think you'll need the insurance in the future.
Great points. What if a person's employer doesn't offer LTD insurance at all?
So, individual policies are also an option, which are policies that a person can buy themselves. Often, these policies are more customizable, and the premiums are going to be based on various factors such as your age, your current health, your occupation, and the benefit amount you select, as well as other things. Often, because of these things, individual policies can be more expensive than group policies. But they're typically not governed by ERISA, which is the federal law that often covers group policies, but rather they're going to be governed by state law, and thus there may be more remedies available to you if your insurer denies your claim for benefits. It's also important to remember that individual policies stay with you even if you lose your job or change jobs because they're not tied to employment. They may also have a better definition of disability, such as an own occupation definition for the life of a claim, rather than what you see in many group policies, which is an own occupation definition that changes to an any occupation definition after a period of time. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that you can't have both group and individual LTD insurance coverage at the same time. This can be important because group policies typically only cover a certain percentage of your pre-disability earnings, often 60%. And thus, this can still result in a significant loss of income even if your benefits are approved. An individual policy can help make up that difference between your group LTD benefit and your pre-disability earnings.
Great. What are some important aspects of LTD insurance that people should be aware of?
So, one important thing to pay attention to is the waiting period or the elimination period in their policy. This is the period of time that must pass before benefits start. So, if you stop working due to disability, you're going to have to wait a certain period of time before collecting benefits, even if they're ultimately approved. And so, you will need to support yourself in other ways during that time period. It's also important to pay attention to whether your policy has a pre-existing condition exclusion. These terms will provide that no benefits are payable for a disability based on a condition that the claimant had or treated for right before obtaining the coverage, if the disability starts within a certain period of time of the claimant obtaining the coverage, usually 12 months. And so if you've only recently obtained an individual policy with such an exclusion or recently obtained coverage through your employer, you should keep in mind that if you become disabled soon after, you may be subject to this exclusion. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier, it's important to pay attention to the definition of disability in your policy, as that's going to determine whether you're eligible for benefits. And finally, people should pay attention to the taxability of their benefits. Some LTD benefits are taxable and some are not. And so that's important for financial planning, and so pay careful attention to that as well.
Great points. When should someone consider speaking with a long-term disability attorney?
So LTD claims in general can be complex, especially if the insurance company is delaying, denying, or otherwise limiting your benefits. An attorney can help you understand your policy, help you gather evidence, and help you avoid costly mistakes. You can contact an attorney at any time. An attorney can help with your initial claim, with an appeal of a denied claim, or litigation of a claim. And if the insurance company denies your claim, though, legal help is especially important, especially under ERISA, because that could be your last chance to get evidence into the record in support of your claim.
Thank you, Leah. Long-term disability insurance is one of the most important financial safety nets that you can have. And unfortunately, many people don't understand how to access it until it's too late. So start by confirming whether you have coverage through your employer and take advantage of enrollment opportunities when they arise. If you don't have group coverage, an individual policy, as Leah spoke about before, may still offer the protection that you need. Our firm, CCK Law, has been assisting long-term disability benefits claimants for over 25 years, so we can help claimants at any stage of the claim and appeal process. If you need help with your claim, reach out to us at any time for a free case evaluation. And another thing that Leah mentioned before, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more LTD content. Take care.